Hey, In2Picklers, Tony coming to you today from the condo. I'm doing some maintenance today, and when I talk about maintenance, I'm talking about body maintenance. As pickleball players, we really need to focus on certain parts of the body that maybe non-pickleball players don't have to worry about. Specifically, what I want to work on today is I want to work a little bit on my elbow and strengthening my forearm. What I'm going to do is do some exercises that have worked for me in the past. Whenever I've had tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, I've done these exercises and they've helped me strengthen the muscles in that area, and in my way of viewing the world, basically help protect the whole elbow area, strengthen it up, and relieve some of the tension that these tendons and ligaments in this area can sometimes suffer. So what I'm going to do today in this video is show you some of those exercises, and hopefully they'll help you too. Let's get into it. Before we get into the exercise, I want to be clear that we're not medical professionals and we're not trained in this area. What I'm sharing with you are exercises that have worked for me in the past. I've been playing tennis for about 40 years and then pickleball for the last 4 years. And these exercises have worked well for me in the past. If you're unsure as to whether these exercises are good for you or whether they're something you should do, consult with your physician before you start. Also, if you're doing these exercises and they cause you any kind of pain or discomfort, stop immediately and consult with your physician before you go further. Before we get into the exercises, I want to show you that you can do these exercises with pretty much anything. So what I have here is Jill has some of these smaller dumbbells. I have an 8, a 5, and a 3 pound here, and I'll show you I'm going to use them for different purposes in these exercises. So these work great if you have them, but you don't have to buy these kind of weights if you don't have them. You can use cans. So like for instance, this can of garbanzo weighs almost a pound, so it's like 16 ounces, so it's a pound. Bigger can like this weighs a pound and 3/4, I think, roughly, so almost 2 pounds. So these work pretty well. You can use bottles of water. You can use this is 12 ounces, so it's about a 3/4 pound bag of beans. And the other option is you can use straps like these. So there's different tension straps that Jill has here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do these exercises with these different different apparatus. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy these kind of dumbbells. If you have them, great. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. You can find things around your house. A lot of these exercises are working smaller muscle groups, so you're not trying to lift 15 or 20 pounds. You're trying to lift a pound or 2 pounds, things like that. Trust me, what you'll see on these exercises that a small amount of weight done several times or done with a lot of reps will work out the muscles just fine. And as you get stronger, if you need it, you can buy a dumbbell set with more weight. The 3 areas I'm trying to work out on my forearm is my upper muscles here. So these muscles, which you'll see tend to be a little smaller or not as strong as the other muscles. I'm also going to work out the bottom muscles on my forearm with the exercise, and then I'm going to work on some more of the internal muscles, I believe, is what's worked out by these, which is basically on a turning thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's work out the biggest muscle, which is this part of the forearm. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to grab, for my purposes, I'm going to use the 8 pound weight. You might only want to use something like a 3 pound weight or a 2 or 3 pound weight when you're first getting started, just to see how it feels. If it's not heavy enough for you, then you can go with a heavier weight. If you're going to use a can for this one, you could probably use the biggest can that fits in your hand, so something like this, like a 32 ounce, or it says 28 ounce tomato can or something. That'll work. So I'll show you how it works with the dumbbell, and then I'll do it with the can, and then I'll do it with the band. What you're going to want to do is the key is to basically isolate the muscle. So what you don't want is your arm moving around. But generally, the best thing to do is just to sit at the edge, like I'm sitting on the edge of a couch here. You can slide back like this a little bit, and then have put your knee out, roughly 90-degree angle on your knee. This gives you a nice base to work on. You can also do it on a table or some other surface that's flat and solid. What you don't want is, if you do it in the air, what happens if I do it in the air, I can move my arm around. I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay my arm across my leg like this. I grab the weight like this, and then all I'm gonna do, it's a very simple motion. I'm gonna open my hand like this and then close up. Open, close, real slow and nice and deliberate. I don't want to hurt myself doing this, so I'm going to go nice and slow like this. And just basically all I'm doing is, you can feel it if you touch it with your other hand, you'll feel it here. And then basically you could do 10 or 15 of these, depending how many you can. If you can do 20, do 20. If you start getting much above 20 or 25, then you might need a heavier weight. So basically you want to be able to do some of these, and you'll feel it start working these muscles here. You feel them contracting and opening them up. Now, What I recommend is, I'm left-handed, so most of the work I do is with my left hand. I believe that it's a good idea to have balance in your life, if you will, like when you do yoga or Tai Chi or anything like that. So basically, I also recommend doing the other hand as well and strengthening those muscles as well. So basically, you can do like 10 or 15 of these. So that's how it would look with the weight. If you're going to do it with the can, it looks like, virtually identical. All you do is just take the can and lift it like this, and then just up and down, nice and gentle, nice and slow. And then if you're gonna use a band, what you would do is you're gonna take the band, one of these bands, and then basically you're gonna place it underneath your foot. So your foot will be the anchor, and then you're gonna hold the band in your hand, and then apply some tension to it, and then you're just gonna lift and lower, lift and lower. It's probably a better way to do this, maybe wrapping around your hand or something, but basically you wanna lift and lower. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to lift it and lower it, lift it and lower it. Actually, you could probably even feed it between your fingers here, give it a little better there, and then lift and lower. The idea is you want the tension to come in this way. So basically lift and lower that band, again, 10 or 15 times on this side. And then what I do is I'll work one side of the muscle, then I'll work the other side of the muscle, then I'll do the rotating one, and then I go back to the beginning of it. And then you switch to the other hand, give it time to rest, other arm, and then do another set. Another thing that I do sometimes, if I'm feeling any kind of discomfort, any kind of tension in my elbow or this area, or if I'm playing a tournament or I know I'm going to play for a long time, is I'll wear a compression band around my elbow. This is a really good product. This is made by Zenza. They make really good compression products, elbow, legs, calves, everything. So basically, you'll see it's got a little area back in the back here to slide on your elbow. It's right there. And then all I do is I slide that on like that. And it really keeps that area warm. It keeps it nice and compressed. And so it provides some, a little bit of relief, and also just, I think it helps with recovery and also helps you play longer. So if you see me playing a tournament, I'll be wearing one of these to play a tournament. If you're interested in these, we have them on our store. I'll link to them above, and you can take a look at these and the legs and other things. So this is another good aid if you're having any problems with your elbow. All right, let me show you what the second one is, which is basically, so that was the bottom part of the forearm. Let's work on the upper part of the forearm. Again, the upper part of the forearm is a lot weaker than the bottom part of the forearm. You don't believe me, try and lift the same weight. So what I'm gonna do, just for purpose of the video, I'm gonna use this 3-pound weight, and then what I'm gonna do is, all I'm doing is I'm taking the arm, same thing I did before that I was doing this way, I'm just turning it over now. And all I'm trying to do is I want to flex these muscles. So I bend my hand down like this, and then gently lift it and lower it. And again, you can feel, if you want to feel it, you can feel these muscles start contracting, and then lift and lower. And these muscles here are generally just pretty weak, especially compared to these down here. And so nice and gentle motion there. If you're going to use not a weight, if you're going to use a can, I'd recommend starting with something smaller, either this kind of can, or even, for some of you, even a can like this. So just a tomato paste can, the little, what's that, 6-ounce can, and basically just lift that up and down a few times and see how that feels going there. There's nothing wrong with working up and getting stronger. So start with something light like this, perfectly fine. If this is too heavy, no problem. Just use your hand. That's fine. Just use your hand. What you're trying to do is strengthen this up without causing additional injury, and hopefully strengthen this area to protect those tendons. So basically it's up and down like this. That's all you're going to do. Again, same numbers before, 10, 15, 20. If you get above 25 or so, you may want to increase the weight a little bit. You're not trying to hurt yourself. You're not trying to make this huge, but you do want to have some resistance on it so that you're working it. So those are the first two that I do. So we've worked this and we worked this. The third thing that I do, let me show you the band. So let me show you the band. So the same thing with the band, you're going to anchor it on your foot here. And then what you're going to do is just basically, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, probably like that maybe. And then lift it up like this. Put a little more tension on it. I don't use bands that often, so. But basically you're going to lift it like this and lift it like this. And all you're trying to do is again, trying to get a squeeze in up here under controlled conditions that you can work on strengthening that muscle. So that's the band. And then the last one is going to be the rotating one. I have to figure out how to do the band on that one. For this one, I use a really light weight, because this one you'll see in a second. This is a really controlled exercise, and I don't want to be throwing a lot of weight around, so I'm going to get the 3 pounds again. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it like, I put my arm on my leg to stabilize it, and then I hold it straight up and down. So I was holding it like this for the first one, like this for the second one, and then I turn it like this, almost like I'd hold the paddle, right? So the way I'd hold the pickleball paddle like this on the Continental grip. So I'm gonna hold it like this, and then all I'm gonna do is very gently, I'm gonna rotate one way and rotate the other way. And one way and the other way, back and forth. Do not do this fast. Don't start throwing this around because you could hurt yourself. You want to do it slowly. Now obviously this kind of rotational movement is something that happens in pickleball and happens in life too, but basically by doing this really slowly, you can strengthen that up nicely. So this is with a dumbbell. Again, if I was using a can, it could be something as light as this. There's no problem. I also have a water bottle, so let's introduce that into the game. So basically this is, you know, some water, no big deal. Just rotate it around back and forth like this. And again, the idea, what I'm trying to work on there is more of the internal and some of these rotating muscles that don't get worked out when I just do this or when I do this. So I want to rotate them. Now with the band, it may be a little more involved. So with the band, what I'd probably do is I'd start like this, and then I'd rotate. Now this is only giving me flexion one way, right? So I'm going to rotate this way, and then what I would do is I would wrap around the other way and then go the other way. The idea is to get it feeling going both ways. So with a band, I'd wrap it around one way and the other way, and just get that feeling so that you can get the different areas of that internal muscle worked out, rotating the band back and forth. Same as before, something like 15 or 20 per set is fine. And then you're gonna feel, but when you're done, you're gonna feel your arm got a nice workout, your forearm got a nice workout, and hopefully that'll help strengthen this whole area, stabilize it for you, so that when you're out there playing pickleball and you're holding that paddle and you're swinging it around, you have a stronger forearm and are applying less pressure on your ligaments and tendons and your elbow by having stronger muscles in this area, and hopefully it'll help extend your pickleball career, reduce injuries in your forearm, and just keep you out there longer. Give it a try.